Okay, we're just hanging out. Hey. All right. It's great to be still out here and practicing and playing, and our guys had a really spirited practice today. Really did a nice job mentally. I thought that was one of the things that we did really well last week. Was the practices were really sharp. They were on their details, which I think carried over into the game. And then so it's fun to be out here today, and it's fun to watch them practice the way that they practice with the attention to detail and the and the excitement they have.
How did CJ process it?
He's fine. We're trying to just work him back in and see what he can do, and that's going to go all the way to the end of the week, and see how it goes.
How more dynamic is the whole offense with different guys?
Well, you saw what we were able to do with him, the little bit that we've had him. So he's a special player. He has his own element that he can add to us. But like I said, we'll just keep bringing it along and see what happens at the end of the week.
Whether it's a player like that or a fullback like Marcel Reese or tight ends, just how much as a play caller does it help you when you have versatile guys that you can move around, motion around, and just give different looks with the same person?
Yeah, it's important, and I think it helps. The more versatile guys you have, the more different looks that you can present to the defense. Marcel's a pro. He's been in the league for a long time, so he kind of has a sense of offense. He's been in a lot of different systems, so you can put a little bit more on him, and he can move around. CJ, he's a little bit younger player, and so you have to. Have to be aware of how much he can handle and not burden him with too much. So that's always the game that you're trying to play there.
What did you like about how those I formation runs worked with Marcel leading the way?
Well, I liked how the whole run game worked as a whole. I wouldn't just lean on the one thing with with Marcel in there. I think the run game was done well. I think I really liked the combinations that our offensive line had. I was commenting to Tom. Some of the initial combinations that we had were probably as good as we've had all year, and you can see that across the board. And it carries over into how we ran the ball.
I think you called 9 runs and 10 plays on that first touchdown drive. To be able to have the run game work so well all the way down the field like that early in the game, how gratifying was that given how much you struggled with that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Curtis, it was awesome just to be able to move the ball on the ground that way, and it kind of felt like us again, and felt like what we talk about all the time. And there was at times this year we haven't been able to do that the way that we've wanted, and so it was great to see the guys coming off the ball. It was great to see Thomas adding that physicalness to the end of the runs, that kind of thing, and I just kind of got a feel there. That was the third drive. I kind of got a feel that it was rolling, and those guys were seeing it well, and the running backs were hitting it well. So he just kept calling it, and then that enables you to set up other things from there.
With Rawls back, with maybe Process back, with Reese there, and now the offensive line, how much more equipped are you in the run game this time around when you played the Falcons in October?
Well, it's been a process, Greg. It's been a huge process to be able to, to move through the year the way we have with the run game, and we've had all kinds of issues all across the board. So it's gratifying now to have it where it is. We're excited, and we kind of feel like we're moving in the right directions. By no means is everything fixed. So there's still a lot of work to do, and we'll continue to work those details, work those fundamentals, and hopefully we'll be able to put another game on top of that one in the way that we did.
He was talking about kind of the chess match of knowing each other well, knowing schemes, coaches, all that. Is it tricky almost to not overthink? What do they know? What do we know about them?
Yeah, it's really important not to. It doesn't matter what I know or the coaches know. It matters what the players know about what we know. So it's how much can we give them and still allow them to be successful, to not overthink things. To if they're out there thinking too much, they're not going to play fast. And so we have to be conscious of that. We have to just give them things that they can handle that will help them to to play fast and be successful. And so that's the little cat and mouse game to not overload them.
Rawls and his yards on Saturday, how much of that was him taking another step and giving a little something extra versus the entire offense coming together and taking a step?
Well, I think it started with the offensive line. I got to give them credit. I really enjoyed watching them play. That's probably in my opinion, that was the best game that they played all year in terms of run blocking, pass blocking. They were really working, like I've always talked about 5 guys working as one. They really were working together, including the tight ends there on the edge and some of the runs. So that's where it started. And then Thomas, he adds his own mix to it, and he had some great individual efforts, obviously, with the runs and yards after the contact that he had, which definitely adds to that. And then that kind of adds, like I talk about all the time. It's he kind of gets the offense going, and it gives us that, whatever it is, that spirit, that that tenacity, and that nastiness that we hope that we have.
Where did his yards after contact come from? I mean, I know I watched it, but is that just his willingness to do it?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely who he is. I mean he's very seldom do you see him not finish a run, and so he's always scratching, clawing, and fighting for every inch, every yard that he can get. I mean you can see that. You can see when he's getting ready to make contact with somebody. I mean he's lowering his pads, he's lowering his helmet, he's spinning, he's all kinds of things to be able to get those extra yards.
How encouraged are you by Paul Richardson's kind of ascent here the last couple of weeks? It seems like he's playing with more confidence than he maybe ever has at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's great to have him out there. I mean it's been a long road for him, and really it's been a road that's kind of been the bumps in the roads have been those injuries. And I mean you think back to last year, he had one play, like a 43-yard play, and he gets hurt on that same play. So we know who he is, we know what we like about him. I mean he has all the ability in the world. I mean every catch that he made, we know he can do that. We've seen him do it, and really the biggest hurdle for him is being able to stay out there. And so hopefully he'll continue to be able to put those games back to back. And I mean, I'm happy for him. We're all happy for him, and excited that that it was able to come together in that game.
Not so much for the season or for Saturday, but for the season, the red zone numbers probably aren't exactly where you would hope they would be. What have you seen that has to get better? Is it sort of...
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. I mean, it's. I mean, every time, we're trying to put our fingers on all the holes. We got the run game going, we got the third down going, and, red zone adds to it. And, it's continuing to execute and continuing to make plays all the way through every drive. I mean, last week we were 3 of 4, so we were able to score on on 75% of those drives. And, I mean, obviously the goal is to get 7 points every time. So we'll continue to work at it. It's always something, and so you're just always continuing to work on it. Whether you can run it in, which we were able to do, whether you can throw it in, we're always looking to do that.
Do defenses pay extra attention to Jimmy Graham when you get down there? Have you seen that with coverages and stuff?
Well, I don't know if they pay any extra attention than they do when he's in the field. I mean, when Jimmy Graham's out there, I mean, he's a factor for us, and they have to they have to pay attention to him.
What's the big Beasley challenge this week for you?
Well, he's better. I mean, he's come a long way since the last time that we played him. I mean, he's a more volatile player, and I mean, he's got great rushes. He plays with great energy. He finishes. So it's going to be a big challenge to make sure that we take care of him, that we don't allow him to direct plays for us.
You mentioned him getting better. The numbers would suggest their defense as a whole is playing better than October. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think they're playing really well. They lost Trufant, so they have a new corner, but they have mostly the same guys. I mean, when they have Beasley and Freeney on the edges, I mean that's some trouble for some offenses. So we have to make sure that we don't let that be an issue. But yeah, they're definitely playing better.
Is there anything? Obviously, you worked with Dan for 2 years, know how he calls a game defensively, and you call it offensively. I mean, does that play in any way at all to what happens Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit of cat and mouse game going on, and obviously him and I had a lot of conversations on how we do things. But it's not me and him. I mean, it's really how our players are going to be able to perform, and being able to have them play at their best of their ability, not having us overload them with information and all that kind of stuff. It's just letting our guys go out and play fast.
How quickly was Marcel and Reese able to pick up the playbook?
He's done a great job. He's like I was saying earlier, he's a true professional. He's been in a lot of different systems. He's had a lot of coordinators, so he's been around different nomenclatures, and so he was able to just to jump in and simulate to our offense really well. And he's a good player to have because he's versatile. We can move him around. We had him in the backfield. We had him split out wide. We've done a lot of things with him, and we like having him.
He was being asked about that playoff loss to Atlanta back in Russell's rookie year. What did you learn about Russell in that game, or what kind of stands out from his performance in that game?
Like from 4 years ago? Yeah. Is that 4 years ago? We're asking about that one. Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do remember him. I mean, we had a great game. I mean, he had a great game. He threw the ball all over the lot. He was moving around and making a lot of plays. I think we scored with like 29 seconds to go to take the lead. So, it really was like vintage Russell. The big plays that he's able to make, making plays with his feet, never give up. Hey, we can do this. We're going to win. All those same kind of things.
Where's Russell right now, health-wise? Is it not even a consideration for you anymore?
No, I think he's I mean, I'm not going to say he's 100%. You know, no one's ever 100% this time of year, but we're comfortable with everything he needs to do.
He didn't have the brace on Saturday.
Didn't look like it.
Yeah, well, he said he admitted after he didn't have it. I mean, did it look any different? Could you tell?
Well, we've seen him in practice. You know, not wearing it at times. So, you know, I mean, I know that all those guys love to not have anything on their legs, and you know, they feel like they move quicker. That they're better. So, you know, more power to them.
Your reaction when he's running down to throw a block for Thomas was what?
Just don't hit him in the back.
I don't think he did that very well.
Anything else, guys?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.